Okay, so last night I was up until 5 o'clock in the morning binge watching the new Netflix series Archive 81. It's currently trending #1 in the US on Netflix. It is described as a supernatural horror thriller based on a found footage podcast by the same name. Now, when I was watching this and I read that that was the description, I didn't really realize that there was an actual podcast. I thought it was just, I don't know. I was like, okay, cool. Sounds interesting enough, right? So I gave it a shot. I should note that the podcast that it is based on is fictional, so you don't have to be all freaked out by like whatever. So that brings me to a point. This show is kind of scary. It's like, so if you're into horror and you're into like being a little spooked, then I think you will probably like this show. The series starts out pretty strong, following our main character, Dan, who is he restores old films, stuff that's damaged, cassette tapes, VHS tapes, the works, right? And he gets approached by this guy, Virgil, who seems like a creep to start. I mean, I might be biased because the actor who plays him is always like some creepy douchebag. Like, I don't know if we remember when that guy was in Weeds and he was like a total asshole DEA detective and his son was the kid from Spy Kids who's now married to Meghan Trainor, but whatever. I'm sure the guy in real life is like delightful, but every time he's in something, I'm like, that's a bad guy. I hate him. Go away. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah. So this guy, Virgil, asks Dan to restore. He's like, I have some old cassette tape, like video camera footage that was burned in a fire. I'm gonna pay you $100,000 to go to a compound in upstate New York. That's horribly creepy, by the way. Like, I don't know. I think it would take more than $100,000 for me to go to this alone with no cell phone service. But whatever. He's like, I'll pay you $100,000, restore this stuff, and that's it. Then, like, good for you, go. And Dan's like, okay, I guess. So he finds the footage is from a building that burned down in 1994, which is cool because I love when things are set in the 90s. So that was like a really fun aspect of the show. Just seeing, and I also love found footage. Like, I know a lot of people don't because it's all like herky-jerky or like whatever, but like Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies. Don't at me. So I really liked the found footage aspect, and like every episode you are like kind of waiting to see what he's gonna find, which makes the series very exciting because like there's like 9 cassette tapes, or maybe there's more, I don't know, I didn't count them, but it looked like a lot. And yeah, so we see basically Dan is discovering footage from this girl Melody, who is presumed to have died in the fire at the Visser Apartments. So that's the premise, right? Should you watch it? Hey, I liked this show enough to stay up until 5 a.m. to watch it, right? Do I think it's one of the best shows I've ever watched? No. I think that I would recommend this show to people who like a mystery, like a journey. They like a little bit of horror because, like I said, there are certain parts where I was like, oh, this is like creepy. Like, I'm a little freaked out, right? That's cool. But I think a lot of people might be, I don't want to say bored, but in the middle of the series, it kind of got a little slow, which happens. But the end, I'm not going to talk about the end. I'm not going to talk about the end right now. Would I recommend this to people? Yes and no. Watch it if you have an open mind and you aren't totally crotchety about things being like absolutely perfect, because it's definitely not absolutely perfect. It's fun. It's fine. It's good enough, as I would say. Like if you're like me, you've run out of things to watch. So every time there's something new, I like have to know exactly what I need to watch it immediately. because I've run out of good things to watch. So I would say this is a very middle tier show. I think it's done really well. I'm sorry. It was done really well in the beginning. I think the last 3 episodes kind of drop off, but then, the end, makes me want to watch another season for sure. It definitely makes me want to listen to the podcast, because I honestly don't feel like waiting until Netflix puts out season 2, because it's probably going to be like 2 years from now, and I'm not going to give a shit about this story in 2 years. So I'd rather just go and listen to the podcast so I can find out what the hell is going on, So from here on out, I'm going to talk about some spoilers. So if you haven't watched this show and you intend to watch this show, you can turn this off now. These are going to be huge spoilers. I just want to talk about what I saw. So turn it off if you need to. Come back when you're done. We'll see you later if you don't want spoilers. Got it? You've been warned. Okay, so there's certain things I need to talk about in this show that irritated me, which is why I don't necessarily put it very high on my list of things that are very good. First of all, okay. I was disappointed that when Dan discovered that he could communicate with Melody in the past, he never actually did. I don't know why. He just stopped having the opportunity. It wasn't really explained why he couldn't anymore. He was trying to warn her to the fire. Right? Don't get burned up in the fire, Melody. And he was like, I can go back and I can save her because she can understand me through her dreams or whatever. Okay, so number 1, that never panned out. Number 2, he also should have been like, hey, why don't you stop the fire from happening to my family's house? Wouldn't that be great? Then everybody could be happy. So I was a little irritated that didn't pan out, that he wasn't able to tell her how to stop these things. But I digress, because I guess it was for the sake of the plot. Another thing that I didn't really like, or that just never was explained, was when that Beatrice, the medium, the tarot card reading lady, at the dinner party, when she talks to Melody from Dan in the future, or memory of the future or whatever, that episode ends with her scraping the shit out of her face and her eyes. And it's like, oh, what did you see, Beatrix? What did you see that was so bad that you gouged your own eyes out? And nobody ever told us what it was. Was it the demon? I don't know. I don't know, because she was talking to Dan. I don't know. Whatever. So I was annoyed by that. Beatrix was never mentioned again after Melody went to the hospital, and we never saw Beatrix again. We don't know if she's alive or dead. We don't know what she saw, which is irritating to me. I want answers, but it's not even I think that we're going to get answers from that. I feel like it's just something they were like, oh, we want some gore. Have this lady gouge her eyes out and make it spooky, That's what it felt like to me. I don't think Beatrix is going to be back in season 2. I didn't write the show. I can't have everything that I want. Nobody's ever going to be fully pleased. I'm sure a lot of people are fully pleased with how this series went. I thought it was really cool what they did with the demon. First of all, I thought it was going to be aliens. I don't know if anybody else, but every episode I was like, oh, we first saw that it looked like an alien in the static. It looked like an alien in the static, right? His big eyes, and I was like, oh, that's an alien. And then I was like, oh, let me rewatch the intro, because they show it looked like a comet, which I guess that came in later. It looked like a planet. And then I was like, oh, maybe Archive 81 is a play on Area 51, So I was like, oh, it's aliens. Definitely aliens. I was wrong. It was a demon. I thought it was really cool what they did with the demon. I got a little freaked out because The Ring is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and that reaching through the static on the TV just gives, no, I hate it. I fucking hate that shit. So that was horrific. I was nervous that when he smashed the TVs, that would make it worse, because you're breaking the screen so the thing could come through. I don't know, that didn't really make sense. why smash the TVs so that the demon can come through the TV? He didn't, but like still. It seemed like backwards logic to me. I was like, no, don't. Oh, it's fine. Okay. And then obviously the end. Like, we know it's being set up for a season 2. But how the fuck would he get pulled back to 1994? It just simply makes no sense. And I'm cool with it because I'm sure they'll maybe tell me how that happened in season 2. You know, I'm also excited to just see 1994 continue to exist in season 2. Like, we get to see Dan hanging out in 1994 as a 30-something adult. But yeah, so that's fun and that's exciting. But all in all, like I said, I think I'm more likely to listen to the podcast because then I can just I could just know. And the podcast is still creating new episodes weekly, but they're currently on season 3. So I can get my answers I want. You could too. We can all go and listen to the podcast and be on our merry way, which is great. So all in all, I liked it. I didn't love it, but it was good enough, right? I think so. I think it was fine. It was fine. That's it. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to say, hi, I'm Jen. Like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more reviews of TV shows and movies. Goodbye.